Friday, December 11th. There is the closing bell, guys. With the S&P closing down 5 points to finish the week, the market had a hard time advancing. Let's dive right in, break this market down, and then go over our top 3 stocks on the day. We take a look at the S&P futures, guys, and it was a wild day, just putting in a V for the most part. We zoom out and we take a look at the night session. Well, we got whacked hard around the European Open and got whacked again around 6 in the morning, only to find a bottom and a bounce off that. We retested that around the lunchtime, and then we just peeled higher off that to close out the week. Overall, we finished down about 10 points on the day. Now, I want to show you guys the SPX and see this bounce right around noon. We'll go on the SPX and we'll take a look. And where were we bouncing off of? Well, this week's lower expected move. We came just 2 points shy of that, but then we just bounced hard over that. We hit that level as well in the overnight session, but the SPX is only a cash index and it only trades 9:30 to 4. We'll come back to the SPX once the options market settles down and talk about next week's expected move, but let's move on and take a look at the NASDAQ. Now, I put the NASDAQ on a daily and we can see there's really low volume here. That's because the NASDAQ and the ES, they rolled today. We rolled out into the Marches, and when we look at the NASDAQ, it's trying to put in a base here. Pretty sizable wicks back-to-back days. Let's see if we can go higher next week. However, when we compare the NASDAQ to our Big 5, we can see the Big 5 that consists of Google, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and Facebook, a market cap weighted index, is up almost 0.4 on the day. When we compare that to our NASDAQ, it's leading the NASDAQ by a decent amount. And also, it's helping our S&Ps. However, our S&Ps are down on the day. That has to mean that energy and financials aren't doing too well today. Let's move on over and take a look at the small caps and then dive into our sectors. We can see the roll that happened today in the Russell futures as well, and the Russell's down about 0.5% on the day. So small caps are weak, technology's weak, overall market is weak for the most part. We take a look at the financials, and the financials are green candle. However, they're down 1% on the day. We got a lot of that back, as you can see. We gapped down and then spent most of the day trying to finish where we opened. And then we can see the same thing in the energy sector, gapping down, doing the similar pattern here. On the bigger picture here in the XLE, guys, it's all right to see a down day. It's not going to go straight up. However, in the bigger picture, it's trending in the right direction. As goes for the financials. We'll see if they want to roll here, but they're getting some nice volume coming into it. Let's take a look at the advanced decline line and then recap some of our sectors. We see in the S&P 100 today, our advanced decline line is 34 advancing and 66 declining. You can see Disney right there. Might be a top stock on the day. We look at our sectors, guys, and communication services is leading and energy is lagging right there with the financials. Seeing the XLF and the XLE down isn't what you want to see for a broad market, because these are big sectors and they can help lift us higher. However, today they're down, so we're seeing the S&Ps down. We see software up ever so slightly. Industrials, it's about mixed, half up, half down for the most part, guys, and our AD line is showing that with more on the declining side. So we see equities today are down for the most part. The bonds better be up. And we see that the bonds today, they're up 0.2%, ever so slightly. Now we got a rejection here. However, we throw this on a volume profile and we got rejected right around that 174 level. So the bonds tested how high they can go. They got whacked back down, but they're finishing the day up, to say the least. Let's cruise on over and take a look at the VIX index and see what the volatility traders are up to. We take a look at these VIX futures today, guys, and the VIX futures for the Decembers are up 4.77%. Now, this VIX future, if we take a look at the trade tap, is rolling here in 5 days. We're going to be rolling outwards. Kind of scroll down to right there, the Januaries. So you can see 63.8K and more volume than the Decembers today. And VIX is trending higher. When we take a look at it on the VVIX, guys, our VVIX is slowly going higher. We're at a 120 VVIX. Volatility is starting to expand. After being bottled up for so long, we're starting to see it expand outwards. And when we take a look at our VIX, guys, and you can see the VIX, it's starting to break up. However, it's a pretty sizable wick. and any positive news on a stimulus deal will whack this VIX right back down. However, we're not going anywhere with that. Let's move on and take a look at the dollar index. We can see today the dollar is up 0.15%. For the most part, it's just kind of consolidating right here. When we look at it on a weekly, we can see right around that upper range from back in 2018. This area is going to be the last area before we really fall down and see a sizable move downwards. You can see that last little island right here. Once the dollar breaks that, it's go time for a lot of commodities, guys. So we see the dollar that's up today, just the tiniest amount. We see gold's up with it, however. Gold's up 0.3% today, $5 an ounce at $18.42. It's having a hard time getting above that $18.50 level. When we take a look at silver, silver is about flat on the day at around $24.08. Now, moving on to Bitcoin, guys. Bitcoin is down 2%. It's not looking pretty here in Bitcoin. However, Bitcoin's a long-term play. It's good to see Bitcoin come down. However, I think it's just going to consolidate. I think 16.5K is a pretty big level of support. We might see that over the weekend, guys, but keep in mind the 23rd is going to be a big time period for Bitcoin. Right around that time. Call it Christmas, right around that time. Let's take a look at the SPX, guys, and see what the expected move is going into next week. We take a look at the SPX, guys, and we can see we bounced near off that lower edge, guys. We were efficient this week because we closed in between the expected move, guys. Now, going into next week, we take a look at the trade tab, and we can see the options market is pricing in an $86.20 move. Last week was 67. This week it's 86. So it's starting to expand, as is volatility. Now we put in the values, guys, and 37.50, call it, will be the upper edge, and 35.77 will be the lower edge. The midline is just simply right where we closed, guys. But there you have it, guys, for the stock market breakdown. Still, we're not seeing anything progressing with the stimulus deal, guys. However, this market isn't getting ripped apart. You would think no deal, this market just collapses. However, we're going to see rotation regardless of a deal or not. Out of big tech and into some lagging sectors. That can be healthy rotation, guys. However, we just might not make all-time highs without that stimulus deal. Next week, we have quadruple witching, which I'll talk more about that on Monday. But let's get right into the top 3 stocks on the day. So we go to the scan tab, we hit scan, and we have a small list of 7. But there you have it. Coming in at the number 3 stock on the day goes to Chewy Inc. Now, Chewy is up over 9% on the day with a market cap of $35 billion. On a year to date, Chewy is up over 187%. Now, what does Chewy Inc. do? Well, Chewy is an American online retailer of pet food and other pet-related products. So think of it as your local pet store is what Chewy does here. Now, why is Chewy up today? Well, I can't find anything of why it's up. However, when I look in the trade tab, it's hard to borrow, meaning there's a lot of short interest in this stock, and this could be getting a squeeze today. After having better than expected earnings on Tuesday, we could just be seeing a squeeze. When we take a look at it on an expected move, guys, you can see the upper edge this week was around, call it $80. We just exploded past that, and we have next week expected move already up, guys. So what could happen next week? Well, look for about $90 as the upper edge. If we continue to squeeze, maybe hitting this level and coming back down. If the market's not looking too good, maybe look for $80 to come back down and hit that, possibly to bounce off of that level. Coming in at the number 2 stock on the day goes to GoodRx Holdings. Now, GoodRx today is up over 9.5%. Has a market cap of $16.6 billion, and on a year to date, it's down 15.5%. Now, GoodRx doesn't have much history on the public exchange. You can see it IPO'd back in September of 23rd. So there's not much data on GoodRx, guys. But again, I can't find any news why GoodRx is up today. However, there's hard to borrow. So we're seeing potentially another short squeeze in this stock, guys. Now, when we throw this on an expected move, you can see we broke right above that upper edge at around $42. So we're resting just a nudge above that. Now, I see a gap right here, guys. So potentially look for $46 to play our upper edge, and it could potentially fill this gap. We'll see if it can continue the momentum into next week. However, if it can't, look for $37.25 to play a lower edge of support in that expected move. Coming in at the number one stock on the day, guys, goes to Walt Disney Company. Disney up over 13.5% today with a market cap of $318 billion. This is the biggest market cap stock to make it into the top stocks on the day. So goes to show you, when you have a big market cap stock making it into the top stocks on the day, the market wasn't doing too well. Now, Disney on a year to date is up about 18.5%. So it wasn't up that much before today started. However, got a nice pop today. And why are we seeing a pop today? Well, Disney had its Investors Day today, and they announced a lot of things that people are seeming to like what Disney's going to be putting out here. We take a look at it on an expected move, and for the most part, Disney was efficient this week until Investor Day, just erupted above that. We take a look at it next week's expected move, look for 182 to play the upper edge and 169 to play the lower edge. Maybe we cool off and come back, test this lower edge, or maybe we keep on popping, guys. But regardless, Disney up large today is definitely lifting the Dow, and you can see the Dow was actually up 0.18% today. There you have it, guys, for the top stocks on the day. Did you watch any of these stocks today? If not, what are you guys looking at next week? And if you watched this far, guys, I really appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up. It means so much to me when you guys show some support. And if you're watching this for the very first time, guys, I do these every single day that the market trades. Show some love, hit that subscribe button. It really will make my day. Have any comments, questions, constructive criticism? I would love to hear it, guys. Comment that down below. But on that note, guys, I will see you on Monday. Have a great night. Take care. Peace.